intake.
That's what I said. I thought it was the intake.
That's the air intake. It's not the outtake, it's just the intake.
Is this the outtake?
No, that's part of your cooling system.
Oh.
That cools the motor. When the radiator's on, this hose goes in here like this, and hooks up to the radiator, and that helps cool the motor.
But basically, they just ripped it off.
Yeah, this right here, yes, you had that right, that's an AC compressor.
I forgot what this one was.
That's your power steering pump.
Power steering pump?
Mm-hmm.
Crank thingy?
That's the crank.
Crank?
That's the crank. The crank pulley is the one on the cabinet on the shelf over there. That's your water pump.
Water pump? Pulley?
Idler pulley. Idler pulley. That right there, that's your alternator.
Dad.
That's what charges up the battery and lets the lights run and the radio play and all that stuff.
So, this is the main one.
Well, it's not the main one, but yeah, it has to work for the truck to run right.
So basically, it's like the battery, but spins.
If the truck is running and the battery goes out, the truck will still run.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's it called again?
That
Alternator.
it's called an alternator. Basically, it powers the whole thing, but these also work with it to get the truck going.
Now, see this water pump? This has to spin. That's what moves the water through the motor, through the radiator. See that lower the hose down there?
Yeah.
It's not hooked up to anything. That hooks up to the radiator.
And they just ripped it off again.
No, they didn't rip it off again.
Picked up something, but
But the crank pulley, the one we need the keyway for, the crank pulley drives all of this.
so basically, it's like the main starter,
It's not the starter. It's
just to keep the belt, just to start the belt.
yeah, it moves the belts. And if the belts don't move, none of this stuff works.
Which means the whole truck runs down.
Yes, that's correct.
The wheels stop moving, but you can still basically use the steering wheel, but everything stops.
You know, the steering wheel will be hard to use if this isn't moving. This is your power steering. You know how it's really easy to turn the wheel when it's moving, and it's really hard to turn it when it's not running? It's because of this. When it's running, the power steering's rotating, and it makes it easy to turn the wheel.
Dad, well, like, do that for me. I'll spin the wheel. You.
No, it doesn't work like that, son. You can't spin it fast enough.
Quit.
It's not fast enough, trust me.
Just go.
What
Just
else?
need a belt.
What else do you want to know about?
What is this? I wondered what this
That's
is.
a mass airflow sensor.
Air cleaner service. Engine oil and oil filter service. I don't understand. What is this also?
That's a valve cover gasket. Or a
Oh,
valve cover, I mean. Right underneath it, this is your head.
oh, so it's basically like those things in a car that.
Come over here. Underneath that, see where the head's sealed up?
Yes, sir.
Underneath that, this is your block.
Keeps it up.
This piece right here that I'm pointing at, this is actually your timing chain cover on a Toyota.
Can you show me with your truck?
My truck's a lot different than this one, son.
So, Dad.
But most of the parts are the same. You'll have an AC compressor. You'll have a power steering pump. You'll have an alternator. You'll have a water pump. You'll have idler pulleys. You'll have a crank and a crank pulley. This is a 4-cylinder, so it doesn't really have a harmonic balancer. But on 6 cylinders and 8 cylinders, they have what they call a harmonic balancer. It keeps the motor in balance to keep it from shaking the truck to pieces.
So basically, Dad, all these pieces, except that one, are the same on that, except that, but you have a bigger one.
More or less, yeah.
That keeps it from shaking and falling to pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's basically 8 inches.
8 inches.
What is that?
This is a 4-cylinder motor.
4-cylinder motor.
Yeah, look. You know how you tell it's a 4-cylinder?
Yeah.
Come over here. You see the plug wires?
This is?
1, 2, 3, 4. See the cap? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yours is an 8-cylinder.
Mine is a 6-cylinder.
6-cylinder? Does that mean it has a balance?
Yes, it has a harmonic balancer on it. Anything else you want to know about?
What is this?
That's your power steering pump reservoir.
Oh, so basically it connects from there to there. Oh, I see the
The lines. Yeah. That's where you put the fluid to run the reservoir, to run the or you put the fluid in the reservoir to help the pump, so the pump doesn't run dry.
What is this?
That's a coil.
Where's the horn part?
Huh?
Piece? Where's the horn piece?
The horn is. You know, that's a good question. I don't know on this one.
No.
What about that?
That?
What's that?
Basically, it doesn't look like a horn, but
It's not a horn, but what is it?
I don't know.
The steering wheel?
This is called the master cylinder. That's what powers your brakes.
Oh.
So basically,
This is a brake. This is a brake booster.
which means when the brake, it's like the main source of the brakes.
Yes, kind of. Look, see these lines? They go to the intake. That line creates a vacuum. That way, when you hit your brakes, you have a rod that moves in and out when you hit your brakes. Okay, it makes it easier to push your brakes. If the vacuum is not working, you have to push really, really, really hard
Like when
to make it stop.
Like when the truck's not moving.
Even if it is moving, if that booster goes out, it's really hard to stop. You have to like put both feet on there and press real hard to stop it.
Like you. You do that sometimes.
No, that's the clutch. When I use both feet, that's because I'm pressing the clutch.
So basically, in the back of this